the whole wide world. My name is Bride, Johnny, Amma.
Yes,
they are
sir.
here.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
We're here.
She's very quiet this morning.
She's very quiet. I don't know.
Maybe.
Why are you panting? That's what you should
No,
have.
I
jog to work, so...
When you're being naughty in the morning, you expect me to talk.
But Amma, you've been very quiet this morning.
Yes,
very quiet.
Because I'm trying very hard to hold myself and not say anything that I would regret. Because any words I use will be used against me.
No, for a moment, Amma was opening her eyes and giving me that look like my mom does. Like,
like, don't bring yourself. Don't also come and...
straight to you. She doesn't scream. She just goes around.
And that's the interesting thing, because you know it brings to mind why people would, for me, beating children is not particularly an option, because I grew up in a home where my father and my mother never beat, but we were straight. I mean, just their eyes could communicate a million words. You wouldn't misbehave. And so for me, people who would, you know, obviously almost all the time be beating their children, what I realize is they become resistant. They're used to it, and so they still continue to do them wrong. But I think it's high time we start having that discussion where we train our children in a way where they understand why they shouldn't do what they're being punished for, and then they would, you know, pick up that, you know, attribute and then keep doing it. But if you just beat them for no explanation,
GES has a policy where we're told that kids are not to be
no corporal punishment.
Yes. I don't know if it's really working.
I don't think it works. We've seen videos where teachers are
it works
beating.
at certain places.
Of course, in private schools it would be enforced, and you know.
But in public schools, some people still cane. I mean, they don't care. I mean,
but it's true.
They still think that, well, the kid has to be caned to put the child.
And people will use the Bible quote, spare the rod, spoil the child. But I really don't think that's what it means.
If I know that all I'll get is just some 6 lashes or 10, I might as well decide to have a thick skin and do it and take the lashes.
Go and misbehave and prepare for the kids, you know.
But if you explain why you're beating, at least for the first time, I'm beating you because you did A, which is wrong. Next time you're supposed to do B, which is the right thing. I feel the child then at least knows, even when in your absence, when they're about to do it, something strikes them. Don't do it because the punishment you get for this is that, and they will stop.
But my dad had his own personal court in the house. So if you do something, it comes, it calls you, says, what you have done, do you deserve to be beaten? Says yes. Or don't you deserve to be beaten? Said, oh, I deserve to be beaten. How many lashes?
You decide for yourself.
I would have said that I deserve to be given a yogurt.
A yogurt.
You
will whip the
spirit out of you.
But you see, on the other hand, some schools, you find our kids being asked to go and weed as a sign, as a punishment. It's a bit worrying.
It is.
It is.
Especially the secondary schools, I believe.
It is because then in the afterlife or in later years, people now look at farming as a form of punishment.
Yes, exactly.
Which is why we keep having a problem. I mean,
with agriculture.
Yes, because people now see, getting into the farm to weed. Sometimes the school has a school farm, and it's punishment. So they see agric as some form of punishment. It's not good.
So the days when we used to grow potato and all those
all gone.
garden eggs is all gone.
But me, back in school,
in the soil. Back in school, when you sent me to the school farm to go with, we treated ourselves very well, you know, because
George is here.
Hi, George. Were you punished to weed in school?
You know, I limp.
Yes.
Was as a result of weeding.
You see? So then he would have a scar from that and never want to weed in which is not fair.
Is that why you don't want to farm?
No, but I wouldn't mind if I engage into farming one day.
Okay, one day.
Because now you've grown to see that farming exactly is the way forward.
What would you want to farm? Cassava?
Okay, farming. I think I'll do cashew.
Yeah, that's nice. I'll buy.
The man wants a cash crop. He doesn't want to do subsistence farming.
No, of course, there's also the debate about cultivating marijuana, which is recently been in the news.
I think that those people who are advocating for it are looking for a way to smoke so the police won't come and chase them. Most of those people who are advocating that legalize it,
Kwesi Pratt will tell you that
they are looking for a chance to smoke.
If we don't take the chance now, very soon
people will do it.
I know, right? But anyway, Edna Matachi will be here this morning.
So more like yes. Edna Matachi. Wow,
it's a throwback day, so it's good to catch up with them.
So I've got all the news this morning. Do stay. And good morning, and this is news here on Newday. We are live on DSTV channel 279. My name is Josh Quinn, and coming up this morning, the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU, has called on government to convene a national dialogue concerning price build-up in fuel increases. And the richest man in Ghana earns more in a month than one of the poorest women could earn in 1,000 years as inequality gap widens. And management of Embattled Men's Gold Company Limited is basking in hopes of returning to its gold vault trade by the first week of October. And on the foreign front, the United States said it was ready to resume talks with North Korea after Pyongyang pledged on Wednesday to dismantle its key missile facilities and suggested it would close its main Yongbyon nuclear complex if Washington took unspecified actions. Thanks for staying on the news in details. On to our very first story. The Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU, has called on government to convene a national dialogue concerning price build-up in fuel increases. And General Secretary of the union, Solomon Kote, says any delay in holding the dialogue before the next fuel increase could trigger more layoffs and companies folding up. He spoke exclusively with our correspondent, Daniel Opoku.
The General Secretary of ICU expressed concern about the recent announcement on fuel price increase. Currently, petrol has been pegged at 5 cedis 18 pesos and diesel 5 cedis 14 pesos. Already, some price build up on petroleum products and toll levies could cause further increases in the next fuel price announcement. The ICU has asked government to review the levies and scrap them altogether.
We will not buy into that idea. We must face realistic issues, especially when the toll levy, the main debt is not known and we are still paying and we don't know when that debt is going to finish. The heritage levy, we are still paying, we don't know when it's going to go off. So these are things that we think if government has taken all its subsidies, it will have lessened the fuel price and help businesses to actually strive.
Again, it has been accused for citing global and external economic pressures as triggers for fuel increases. The ICU disagrees.
We are with the view that ideas to say that this thing must be reduced have not seen the light of the day from the successive government and the current government in power. On the issue of fuel, ICU say that the two of them have no clue to help us resolve this major special commodity challenge.
The union has since called for a national dialogue on the matter.
We attempted the automatic adjustment formula. It didn't work. It didn't work because when the prices were coming down, the rate at which the reduction should come, it never came. But when the price started rising, with the speed at which they are adjusting it upwards, as if the adjustment only works when it is going upwards. That has also not helped us. And now the average Ghanaian need the understanding of this mechanism. And then we'll take it from there. Because if we put it and allow the politicians to use it, we might be destroying the fabric of this nation.
It has indicated plans to petition the Ministry of Employment about the effect of the increase on cost of living.
And still on fuel price increase, minority spokesperson on mines and energy, Adam Mutawakilu, has accused government of transferring its incompetence in the management of the city to the ordinary Ghanaian. He says this is unfair. Speaking to our correspondent, the Damango MP said the current fuel price increase is a product of a depreciating city. He urged government to stop being insensitive to the plight of Ghanaians.
Ghanaians woke up on Monday to a further fuel price increase, crossing 5 cedis per litre. The recent increase is a third major increment this year. The minority said consistent fuel price increases is a result of a depreciating cedi, which they said is due to government's incompetence in managing the economy.
Government is transferring their incompetence in the management of the cedi to the ordinary consumer to pay. When the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you, and that is what is being exposed. We shouldn't be surprised that it won't be long, there will be an increment. Apart from the cedi depreciating, the government is also showing a level of insensitivity in the tax build-up in the petroleum price.
Adam Mutawakilu reiterated the need for government to scrap the special petroleum levy because it has outlived its usefulness.
It was brought in when the international oil price was far lower than the benchmark price used in the budget. In 2015, the benchmark price was $99 per barrel, which we used in the 2015 budget. And the price dropped to $28 per barrel. So to meet the deficit, the special petroleum tax was introduced.
He said government in the 2018 budget presented to Parliament a benchmark price of $57 per barrel, but as of now, the price per barrel is $77, adding government makes a surplus of $10 million a day.
Currently, it's about 46 pesos per liter. And if it's about 5 liters a gallon, you are talking about 2 cedis, 2 pesos. If you calculate it, and if you take it off or calculate it as a percentage, that's about 10%. So if you reduce it by about 10%, you see that it would have absorbed this 5% and will still have a surplus. So we call on Nana Akufo-Addo, work on the economy. The cedi is depreciating fast against the dollar.
The Damangu MP said the minority will on October 15 begin an outreach program to educate stakeholders in the various regions and districts on the need to remove the special petroleum levy.
And away from fuel price increase, the richest man in Ghana earns more in a month than one of the poorest women could earn in 1,000 years. This is contained in a report on inequality in Ghana by civil society group Oxfam Ghana and partners Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition and Send Ghana. Selamenya has more.
This flagship report is hereby launched. Thank you so much.
The report titled Building a More Equal Ghana was launched in Accra on Wednesday. Former Executive Director of Media Foundation for West Africa, Professor Kwame Kakari, who reviewed the report, placed the blame at the doorstep of politicians, insisting that political parties are not set up to promote social change.
If you listen closely to them, to the political parties and their agents, you hardly hear anything concerning programs to change the system that we live in. They keep maintaining the system, using the system to the advantage of individual elite members in the parties, and so on and so forth.
The report further states that the share of wealth owned by the poorest 60% declined from 35% in 1998 to just 30% in 2012. It also estimates that nearly 300,000 more men, women and children could have been lifted out of poverty had wealth distribution been fairer. 5 key drivers of inequality identified in the report were poor financial management, poor public services, gender inequality, corruption and political capture, as well as low wage levels, which revealed 20% of working Ghanaians are poor. The report highlights huge geographical inequalities, indicating that only 26% of the poorest girls from the northern region finished primary school compared to 90% of boys from the richest 10% of the population in Accra. Dr. Eric Odrosai, a local governance expert, described the situation as an insult to our intelligence while calling for strengthened resolve to addressing the issue of inequality in Ghana.
That is why I'm calling on all of us to hold politicians accountable and ensure that parliamentarians put the executive on its feet so that they will prepare budgets that are socially inclined, budgets that respond to the needs of the average Ghanaian, budgets that ensure that the inequality gap is bridged.
It suggested ways to tackle inequality, including improving public financial management, ensuring equity in public spending, improving on wages and putting women's economic empowerment at the heart of policy making.
And now let's shift to a development that is making all the headlines. And management of Embattled Men's Gold Company Limited is basking in hopes of returning to its gold vault trade by the first week of October. An attempt by the company to get regulatory issues between them and the Securities and Exchange Commission solved became unrealistic with the first approach, and there has been mixed reactions towards the safety of deposits and dividends by customers who thronged the company's branches on Wednesday morning. Komla Kulche has more.
Sights and sounds of anger. Angry not because they feel scammed, but because of what they believe is a deliberate twisting and sabotage of the gold business by Men's Gold. These customers thronged the East Legon branch and were hopeful the company will come out without blemish. This middle-aged man, who was secretly recorded, stated he was bent on increasing his investment in Men's Gold and was less concerned about the fears. Abdul has made investments with Men's Gold and is in a dilemma.
When I question one of the workers, is that they themselves is afraid that SEC may not give them the mandate to operate. What they said is that if you have £1 to less than £10, they will pay you off, surely in case SEC deny them from operation. But if you have £10 going upwards, then they will give you an option to choose either to be paid off or to go global. And so if you go global, you will choose the country that you want to receive your dividend or you want to operate.
At the head office in Joblu, these customers besieged the office ostensibly to withdraw their dividends, but were disappointed.
I think Men's Gold is doing legitimate business, and maybe they have not passed through the right channel. I think the right thing should be done. Maybe the regulatory bodies should help Men's Gold to do the right thing, rather than the news you are hearing of about the close down.
Anger, emotionally charged, these customers say they are in a fix. Management of Men's Gold are battling with the Securities and Exchange Commission over regulations bordering on their operations.
And they are doing very good at that.
Have you submitted all the documents there is that is needed by from Men's Gold to the Securities and Exchange Commission?
Again, I'm unable to speak to that in detail, but what I do know for sure is that over the last couple of weeks, a lot of gathering has been going on, putting things together, and everybody has been busy. You ask, oh yeah, we are gathering the material requested by the Securities and Exchange Commission, but I cannot speak in detail as to whether or not all the required documents have been submitted.
An emotionally crafted statement by the company ended, "It shall be well."
A lot of pundits would argue that it is unprofessional to put a line like that in a professionally written public statement, but that is the mark of a company that feels for its clients.
In the wake of these challenges Men's Gold is going through, there are reports, new introductions and migrations on the investment portfolio.
I found it a little strange when I also heard it, because Charlie, where's the multi deal that I haven't heard of, you know? What I do know for sure is that, of course, naturally, if you are in an organization and you're not thinking of the future of the organization, then really, what kind of organization are you running? So there have been discussions regarding the future of the organization, but I don't think anything has been made concrete regarding any sort of migration or any purchase of £10 or whatever. And yes, the company is hopeful that come 28th of February, which really takes us, 28th of September, which really takes us into the first week in October, the company would be able to meet its extra value, matured extra value demands.
Do not fear. This is the assurance being given by management of Men's Gold Ghana Limited to its numerous customers, but they have a Herculean task to fulfill the demands being made by the Securities and Exchanges Commission. But as to whether the end of the month will be met or not remains an unanswered question. Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Accra.
And so we'll keep an eagle eye on this Men's Gold and SEC impasse and keep you posted in our subsequent bulletins. And now let's do some international news, where the United States said it was ready to resume talks with North Korea after Pyongyang pledged on Wednesday to dismantle its key missile facilities and suggested it would close its main Yongbyon nuclear complex if Washington took unspecified actions. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said he had invited North Korea's foreign minister to meet in New York next week with the aim of completing its denuclearization by January 2021 after a Pyongyang summit between the leaders of the two Koreas. And the United States appeared eager to seize on commitment by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un at his talks with South Korean President Moon Jae-in. Even as critics said, the step did little to put Pyongyang on a course for irreversible denuclearization. North Korea will allow experts from concerned countries to watch the closure of its missile engine testing site and launch pad at Tongching-ri, Moon said at a joint news conference with Kim after their meeting in the North Korean capital. And on that note, we end news here on Newday. You can get more news updates on our website, 3news.com. Newday continues right after this break. I'm Josh Quinn. Thanks for watching. Good morning.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at the front page stories on the newspapers. The Ghanaian Times this morning reports that big boost for young entrepreneurs, 2,000 to benefit from 30 million Ghana cedis government training program. And government traditional rulers must partner for development. Dialogue, not strike action. Health Minister tells health workers. Those are the front page stories on the Ghanaian Times. The Daily Graphic reports that men's gold customers issue threats as investments lock up. Ghana Health Service to entice doctors to 3 northern regions, and ATL struggles to keep workers pay salaries. Well, the fundamentals are right, aren't they? Or maybe not. They are not. The Daily Guide. With common goals, Nana tells chiefs. 6 arrested for burning Adana chief's corpse and 2 grabbed over we in Speaker. Yesterday, the NACOB brought out that info. Men's Gold extends shutdown, prosecuting corrupt officers. 6 cases sent to Amidu and over massive fraudulent deals. So the special prosecutor is receiving deals, cases, but when is he first prosecuting? The first prosecution, when is it? I'm curious. Daily Heritage. Bagri Dam disaster. Declare state of emergency. Security analyst tells government. And tension in Krowa Assembly. Photo of the local government minister there. And Jamestown Manche to establish varsity. Where? I'm curious. Judge angry over delay tactics by AG's department in the case of the JB Dankwedu's murder. And the Daily Statement. Let's work for the benefit of our people. President Akufo-Addo urges chiefs. How NDC stole over 800 million Ghana cedis. Forensic audit on 6 agencies reveal. And government rolls out fresh job program for 2,000 young entrepreneurs. Today newspaper. 6.8 Ghanaians are poor, according to the Ghana Statistical Service survey. Pilgrims laud Nana Bawumia over Hajj success. Photo of Chief Imam there. And Gusi rejects Mohammed's offer. All set for celebration of 2018 Igbo Day, the Nigerian community in Ghana. And tension in Krowa Assembly. We'll tell you more about that. Or better still, find the paper and read. BNFT, 400 women leaders expected a second EWN annual conference and mobilize taxes positively to solve inequality. Government to support entrepreneurs with 30 million Ghana cedis plus 20 million sweet potato processing factory to transform rural economy. The Business and Finder is a very final paper for this morning. 2,000 entrepreneurs get 30 million Ghana cedis Spanish support to beef up capacity, set up new investment bank for industries, and government unveils incentives for 1D, 1F initiative. front page stories there. Okay. It keeps talking about some capital injection and investment here and there. I'm wondering what happened to the previous ones we heard, that X amount of money has been invested into this industry, into that industry. How are the people benefiting from it? That's my question, because if every now and then we keep hearing that we're getting this investment, we're getting that, and yet the people keep complaining, I'm trying to reconcile the two. I don't know.
It comes back to accountability and probity. I've realized that Ghanaians oftentimes will forget what we're asking for. Once, let's say, a few people haven't sorted out, it becomes a thing where, okay, we're comfortable, and so we forget to talk about it. But when we pick up an issue, we're supposed to see it through. And obviously, the people who also do not benefit are supposed to ask questions so that we can chance upon it and keep that topic going. But oftentimes, when we pump money into it, once we've heard and the politicians have made the big headlines about it, that ends the day. I mean, the pomp and pageantry goes on. After that, everyone goes to sleep because it seems they have done something.
Look at this textile factory, for example, struggling to keep its workers pay salaries. And it is not just them. It cuts across a lot of industries. And I said here that, look, when the banking crisis came up, these are private entities, okay? People are losing their jobs. Some of those people who were working there were providing capital for people to do small businesses, SMEs. So now that their capital, their monies have been blocked because they lost their jobs, that business, it takes a ripple effect, will suffer. Then the dependence of those people will also have to suffer. It means that there will be a cramp down on the economy. So I don't know.
Yeah, Johnny, it's worrying.
And yet we keep being told that the fundamentals are all right.
I saw the story on the front page of the Finder, and yesterday I saw the National Entrepreneurship Innovation Program, its chief executive. There were some young people that government actually has supported them to set up businesses. But you see, the key thing here is that now, if at this point that you're starting the businesses, if the city continues to behave the way it is behaving, like Johnny said, if the fundamentals are not right, even though we're being told they're right, now, when they start the businesses, how will the businesses fare? Okay, that is a worry. Government is doling out all these funds to support these programs. The private sector perhaps is supporting one way or the other. But if the indicators are not right, how do these businesses get the grounding they need to thrive?
It doesn't make sense.
So we might throw in money, but we'll get very little because...
Look at the situation at Kaneshi Market, for example. The Kaneshi Market, the numbers keep expanding. People are getting onto the footbridges, onto the pavement. And then AMA will pick money and then go and drive them all off, and then in 3 months they will come back. So we keep spending money to drive them off. Whereas what we should have done is to expand the capacity of the market to be able to accommodate all these people. The AMA has a building around the Kaneshi Church of Pentecost. It's been there since 1996, 1998. It's become a white elephant. Nobody's using it. We could turn it into another market for the people to use. But you see, we are looking for a way to accuse these women who are on the footbridge, even though I think that what they are doing is not right. We are also not giving them the adequate opportunity to be able to survive and thrive. These people have decided not to join robbery gangs. They have decided not to prostitute. They have decided not to steal, but they've decided to sell to make ends meet for themselves. And we are always putting them out there like that. I don't get it. And then we will spend money to say we are sacking them off the streets. Whose money?
And exactly, still to talk about how businesses are not thriving because of the other things that are changing in Ghana. We also have fuel prices being hiked, and transport fares are also going to be adjusted, certainly to go up. I don't think they'll plan on reducing it in the light of, fuel prices going up. But let's run and find out what your take is on this.
Transport operators in the country are threatening an increase in transport fares on the back of increase in petroleum products. The recent increase in petroleum products is due primarily to the city's poor showing against the dollar. Thus, bulk oil distributors who buy the crude have no option but to pass on the shock or increase in cost of fuel to consumers. But there's another stakeholder in the chain, should they also do their own, for want of a better expression, pass on, where they will also increase their fares to ensure that they break even when they go to the pump? This is your daily rant. My name is Eric Yaojay.
Eric, I'm the petrol water on and I said, taxi be a what? What to order? Say $1 no kosura. What to order cushion? Then fuel. What subsidize fuel into? Am I young wine in hand kakra? Na the miscan what it so. And so say $1 no kosura. Or there one so there. Scanner what it to go on. One fan yard the fufu biara. Into the water to it. Into one fan cushion them price no. Am I so your corner your cotono? One can bend that to them a minute. I did bet you so now walk to petrol. Na who said the bill can was side na that person say 1 year we count as no so o fit the spare part no buy nti ekwana to say no pay na nwa bro that person was can na okọ say no mu oya so oya atete papa na aban biara oba say or position say oh meba fuela met so do drastically omo oba no about to tum drastically nti e be say politics na what be ya. One from 200 drivers, so you
so automatic adjustment. They are not surprised and so you have automatic adjustment because that's about to pass. So I'm not worried there because here, this America say, eco government vehicles are war make also another metro miles where you park per cars because of maintenance cost. But here the good idea, man. That's a year when the damn dear. Send on each other and say your cars in here, Parko.
The media me say aban say petrol no cost pe media me danam sorry I mean say aban it before I say you better petrol so no ono so anything we nim ho bi
mamu hu in there aban take advantage power GPR to one top hierarchy osande am the esro ho no your national office ho no troubles bi abahoma mpayinfo no wontum nko office because your GPR to na aban won hihye a that toward every 6 months we are review transport fares because of them automatic adjustment. Now what to petrol model 10% GPR to another transport operators for who can there in your adjusting transport fares. What would the GPR to office in Ankasano on Yejuma into Obiara Obama instructions was Obiano on Yejuma. Since your regions no Biara share no regional Mosima. About 200 members on wage in Kitahoma, Wakwechi. National office and I said on age, and I take advantage of hey, and pay for when you had that. No, yeah. First, it's on to them because I'm about tomorrow, or they make sure that I consult that phone paying for.
I shall not about to why won't be on young.
I want to be pa. Well, there, Jama, honor and ordinary permit to Nintino, Mapanoye. So I don't, and answer ya, Uncle Why steady. But this time, the way you are onche da ofe wefe wadwen
yo abanu da benu na hia woni je woni chen but afisi adari yande ayo kokunta fun bawa disabaya anfa dun ko to be da na anyina ya won twayan
so what to petrol them a hia the brekwa long journey funds on this we friend on the ba no ho de wo boko ba hia ta drivers no he ebobo abe na agbo mesi ebopo na petrol na wa yo ka ena of a trotro mesi old baby pa trotro fem point taxi drivers here den yeje abana ma yebo pon akọ na che hwe kwa yi bibia de botom ti yesen se bibi dem ba o ma taxi drivers here mo bol kwa wa Ghana nti yesen na
o ma no mamu hu de aman yefon one for policy mbu ma no what the politics and the ma no e wa ha ana campaign time Vice President, Mama saying they all say, I will arrest the dollar and then jail him, give the key to Wana. Only dollar America will show me chen kanzen. Since a dollar you are paying for out in chen.
Since Ghana and I didn't pa petrol to Muba, near all can be brave. It's a matter of young witchery and pa Siciano, or near my better so be no water to petrol, better so be water to petrol. In what they call because Stembia and Okade driver from the young cool squint, Mopibian or Didian, Ts and I say, so Bibia on your mind, and I say, driver for young witchery and pa.
Well, I can as a dollar and we use what did it term them prices and on cost for another umbrella from dollar is so kali ejuma yeli na dollar semi of fire nti ade yakasa wo ho to extend that ma menu akrokan so arrest dollar na sa dollar na break from jail dia no vice president na nkasa mpo na ede way need because prosini pro the way dedi because prosini arrest obi na impakrum break from jail wo mo kwa hwa na ba wan fa number what this messing
say you dey kasa kwa
oh Oh, yeah, Casaqua search. Until I about Miss Nassum Point away in a dinner call Shedda or then Baba Bottom because in a young Trahan. I had them did the honor on the Briar bring ya, Yabu Yesu, I used to Gunanado until I had away in a day.
I mean, I'm the young politics. Yeah, can handle for him as some now, Minion or can or train San Yanko ye because also in way vice president. Obikade about arrest dollar and I say, Oya Casaqua dollar no arrest more Yanko near. Oya Casa bluff for Casa walking. And see, Henry, may empire your boy in there. One my and far a petrol, some no, you find Yaman or some. Nemum them automatic adjustments, no. On the Yapadank, what pay fuel.
I'm a someone on the opposition or more Osuti, Obamusa or Mosuti. You been your fool, Semi, Wobba managing. I only the Abon Dam so now so never be no. Abakala. The sent it, I want to no get one. All the way you will be. Am I answering what I can?
And maybe I best think on not say what to Fango Numa. Well, 2 more years to say, what to Fango Numa, now what the price list account. What to ma the rate I want about to no one can say work the percentage. I am phantom.
See, I driver follow one paying for now the increment to be aba. 1 week in pony be so bad there. 1 trying paying be abium. That may yell can national one away breaking. I feel 1 try one ever burn will be a station and more penology. So damn the penny there. Now feed that I'm so said Obandama or the chaos at the bar. Because I been a driver sin na passengers in na Casacasa or Obandama men will enjoy. A man is your pedani mudre. Until 1 month, then 1 consultant sana prices baba waba.
The matter of our cuspin. Now, one fuel prices, almost about bed. Mean there was about 15 years in it. Want you fuel nuda? Want you lord for even lord fair and put him manana where than what's order? Now, me, yeah, I want to again 1 time premier. Ah, the bear over to 1 year, baby 10 years and a day you want to be. We're going to have a man, Nampedem Bisa, Abano, Nede, Utumwedne.
The drivers are unanimous in their demand on government to reduce the prices of petroleum products, or they will advise themselves, they say. What do you think about their demand? You can go onto our various social media platforms and post your comments there. This has been your daily rant with me, Eric Yode, from the Cape Coast station here in Takrade in the Western region. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us.
Right. Thanks so much for staying there. And the newspapers already in here, taking a look at some of the key stories here. And if you take a look at the Finder, the Times, the Daily Graphic, almost all of them talking about attempt at getting some entrepreneurs the support they need to start businesses. 2,000 entrepreneurs get 30 million Ghana cedis Spanish support to beef up capacity. That's the Business Finder. The Times says big boost for young entrepreneurs, 2,000 to benefit from 30 million government training. And that story also gets some space on the BNFT, government to support entrepreneurs with 30 million Ghana cedis. The Men's Gold story also has some pages here. Daily Graphic has that story too. And we'll take a look at other stories making issues. And of course, the Finder this morning is talking about an issue certainly we want us to take a look at. Fuel price hikes, permanent solution critical. We'll take a look at that story when my guests are all seated. My first guest is lecturer from the University of Education, Winneba, Dr. Ahmed Chinapo. Good morning. I hope you're doing great.
Good morning, right.
And thanks for. I am doing great too. Thanks for joining us, and congratulations to the university, the university chair of the vice chancellor. I'm sure you guys did great work.
Well, I happen to be there, and I think it was a colorful ceremony.
Right.
Notwithstanding the issues that have more or less characterized the whole issue of the former vice chancellor being removed and the investiture of the new vice chancellor. I have always said, and I think I will maintain, that for me as an individual, as Ashantis always say, "Yabasi yabesum, yamase yansum." We came to serve, and I think one way or the other, my actions and inactions must always inure to the benefit of the university.
Right.
And in as much as I work as a staff of that institution, I have every responsibility to work within my own means to ensure that the university grows. That notwithstanding, I think an institution of that type must always work within the remit of what?
The law.
The rule of law. And I think that I'll pray. And when I say I'll pray, I think this should more or less be the end to UEW in the media relative to bad publicity. UEW, as you are aware, and I think UEW happens to be probably the biggest topic that we've ever discussed for a very long time. But I do not want to I gag anybody. I think the rule of law must work, and we must respect the rule of law. But in as much as we respect the rule of law, I think it's also instructive and important on each and every one, especially we those who happen to be stakeholders of that university, to always look at the university first. Because, right, I mean, whoever happens to be working there will leave, and UEW will stay. You look at institutions like Harvard, look at institutions like the University of Ghana. Today, the University of Ghana is celebrating its 70th anniversary. When I was at Legon, Adam Mensah was the vice chancellor. I don't think today Adam Mensah is even mentioned. No, so it's a theater. And in as much as a theater, we must be mindful of our actions, such that the supreme interest of that institution must always be
so when the president called for bridges to be built, from what you saw, and perhaps a week or so after, do you see the beginning of that?
Well,
that
I think the president's call is in the right direction, but it will take some time because, as we are aware, the legality and all the nuances of the removal vis-a-vis legal is still in court.
Right.
You know, it's still in court. As we speak, I think there's a case at the Cape Coast High Court. There's another case at the Supreme Court. You know, but I think there will be a natural healing, but that healing can only become possible if the different players are more or less committed to a reconciliation process. And I've always said that at the end of the day, issues of this nature, and right, you agree with me that, look, there have been some entrenched positions, and not just entrenched positions, but if you look at what has happened within the past period, you agree with me that it's taking a very, very different tone, in the sense that, look, it's not an easy thing for a university staff or a faculty member to be sacked, not to talk of a vice chancellor. And if you look at what has happened within that period, I think it is possible for reconciliation to be done. And it is not only possible, but it is very, very necessary. And if you ask me, has that process started? I think it's not about whether it started, but the mindset of the various players who happen to be involved in this whole activity. I would say, and I would strongly suggest, as I said before, that what has happened in UEW and what is happening today should not be personalized. It should not be personalized. I do not want to see it as a fight between A or B, but I want to see it as one that must be hinged on the rule of law. It must be hinged on truth, and it must be hinged on one that should posit the university as the ultimate beneficiary of whatever happens. So, as I said, I think it's about time that we, those who are involved in the activities of that university, must be mindful of the fact that whatever news come out of that university must be one that is of positive news, one that should be devoid of, everyday UEW. I think we should let the system work. Right. Let the court take its own course. And if anybody happens to be involved, whether you're a politician or whatever it is, I think those individuals should take a backstage and let's let the truth work. And as much as possible, I've always said that, look, UEW
must be the ultimate beneficiary of whatever happens. And in all our actions, we must be mindful of the fact that posterity will be looking at us.
I'm grateful. Dr. Ahmed Jinapor from the University of Education, Winneba, talking. My second guest just joined us. Sami Gemfi is a member of the NDC's team. Sami, good morning.
Good morning,
Hope you're doing great.
By God's grace.
November 3, the party has fixed that date for the National Congress.
Yes, that's correct.
And how is the party preparing for that?
We are, poised for that all-important program. We are all ready. We have barely a month to Congress Day. We've inaugurated all the committees that we are required to inaugurate under the Constitution.
Right.
And so I can say that plans are far advanced relative to the organization of this year Delegates Congress. And I am hopeful that everything will go on successfully, and that at the end of the day, we, through our internal democratic processes, we elect, the new national executives who will be managing the affairs of the party going into the 2020 elections.
All right, I'm grateful. We're waiting for my third guest. She's already in here. Will be joining us very soon. But let's touch on this issue. We're finding a permanent solution to the fuel price hikes. Which way do we go? COPEC, the Finder has a story of COPEC suggesting a national dialogue to help find innovative ways of addressing the issue. COPEC is also talking about the Bank of Ghana asking of finding a way to assure importers of these products of a stable foreign exchange that it says can ensure that some stability is found as far as the dollar-cedi ratio is concerned. Now, in that direction, COPEC believes that it will go a long way to deal with the problem. But my guest this morning will take a look at exactly how we can resolve the issue of fuel prices. The Finder has a story. But let me quickly get my third guest properly seated, and then we can begin the conversation. And I'll read to you what COPEC is suggesting, a national dialogue, a way to address it. We want government to have a critical dialogue immediately so that all stakeholders interested in preferring some workable solution to this phenomenon would at least put their shoulders to the wheel. The Institute of Energy Security has also been warning that fuel prices at the pump will continue to go up until the cedi stabilizes. The fact, according to the Finder, is that bulk oil distributors who buy crude oil have no option but to pass on the increasing cost of fuel to Ghanaians as prices on the world market appreciate. This is the confusion we'll find ourselves in. My third guest, Kamal Dean, now I can say is a deputy communicator, national communications director of the NPP, has just joined us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you're doing great.
I'm terrific.
Thanks for joining us. I'm also good too.
Yeah.
We had the announcement from the party yesterday. So you're now the national deputy communications director of the party.
Great.
Thanks for joining us.
It's always a call to say.
Who is the communication director?
Thank you.
The MP for Adenta.
Oh, it's not an elected position, right?
No,
it is not.
But you are contesting for.
They are. They virtually have all their positions contested for. Sure.
Right. Theirs is not. Sami is vying for national.
Sami is Mamando.
So Sami will be facing Kamal in the course.
Sami will never be my man. Why will he be my man? Why?
Okay, all right.
Come and be a thorn in our flesh. No, he will not be my man at all.
Oh, I see. Okay. Now, I have two politicians and a lecturer here. Now, let's start the conversation. This morning, our main job, we have just about 45 minutes, so I'm asking you to be very concise on what you say. Kamal, let me welcome you with this. The fuel price hikes. We're struggling to deal with it. Which way should we go?
Well, once again, very good morning to you. Good morning to my co-panelists on this show. I would like to wish my friend Sammy well, but I wouldn't wish him success anyway. Knowing what he can do to us. Without a doubt, he will have a match. Solid one, of course, at the right time. My good brother and senior brother, of course, Dr. Ahmed Jinapor, who's always been solid in terms of his neutrality when it comes to national issues. Hi, it's been a long time. Anyway, we have had to grapple with this problem. We have had to struggle with it. We have had to deal with it. Governments after governments, the argument has always been CD depreciating. As a result, economy affected. That has always been the case. I mean, I'm yet to see a government that would tell me I never suffered this particular problem. No. Spanning from the time the fourth Republican Constitution was actually promulgated and then got into force, and we got our first government out of that in terms of the Republican Constitution I'm talking about, the fourth Republican Constitution I'm talking about. We got from His Excellency General Rawlings, who came 2 terms, left. We got President Kufuor, who came, same, we had these problems. But at the tail end of Kufuor's administration, we saw the dollar and the CD actually rubbing shoulders, if you recall. Now from there, it was bequeathed to Professor Mills, 1 CD, 22 pesos or so. Okay, moved from there. Gradually, by the time he exited, it was around, 4 CDs or so, or the exit. That's about around 2016, thereabout. 4 CD, 20 pesos and all that. So it means that there's a history to this particular issue. Now, essentially what it does to our economy negatively is when that happens, major sector of the economy, which is the energy sector, which has to do with petroleum products, obviously would be affected. You see, it got a point where, we had to do fuel politics. We have not actually held back.
Has it stopped?
No, it has not stopped.
Okay.
We, the MPP, did fuel politics. NDC is doing fuel politics and have done it before even. Of course, other parties will do fuel politics, but we ask ourselves, prior to even we coming out to pride ourselves as a net exporter of oil, or as it were, exporter of oil as well, prior to even that, did we have this argument in place? Yes, we did have the argument. To the extent that it got to a point where energy experts had to come out with boards calculating how much fuel should be sold to the citizenry of this country, impugning, if you like, some insensitivity on the part of somebody who is supposed to be steering the affairs of the country. I remember Atua Hoy did that against the Kufuor administration in the second term, when we're going for a second term election. He said, look, fuel which was sold in the world market as around $147 a barrel, according to Atua Hoy's logic, that fuel should be sold about 2 cedis or a little above 2 cedis. Then, this argument was made. Ghanaians bought into it and voted massively for the NDC. Then the NDC came to power. They had cause to tell Ghanaians why they could not reduce the fuel. So it means that it's a perennial problem. It has been a problem that actually has been with us for some time. Where are we today? Yes, prior to the 2016 election, the MPP, I must admit, we came out to say, look, this is the situation. The city could be arrested. The city could be, if you like, dealt with, and all that. We made politics, or we did politics with it. However, we didn't just do politics with the currency alone. That is what Ghanaians must actually take note of. We did politics with the entire fundamentals of the economy. And you would agree with me that prior to that election, the finance minister, okay, who of course manages the purse of our country, had cause to tell us that, look, there were some shocks, there were some problems, and therefore we needed to go to IMF for some bailout. And we had to go to IMF for bailout, which we are still in today. We had cause to tell you that, look, the economy was actually not doing well. But I want to dwell on the fuel and then the position of the city. Just to end with.
Be smart about it.
I want to say that, look, somewhere 2015, and Ghanaians should watch us and, of course, and understand. I want to believe that this show is a huge show and the discerning minds are actually watching. 2015, because of this back and forth matter on this fuel thing, NDC will say that, MPP will say that, PNC will say that, whoever will say this. We all keep arguing. Then we said, okay, 2015 when Dramani Mahama was the president, let us embark on what we call the deregulation. Now, deregulation will permit us to take or wash our hands off as a government from the pricing, okay, of petroleum products in this country. Hence, being in this case, being AGO and then PMS, okay, because the BDCs who have been licensed are private companies. They are supposed to make profit. The BDCs go to buy the products in dollars, bring it back into the country, sell to OMCs, oil marketing companies. The OMCs would have now to move it to assets where our filling stations, where we the consumers would have access to come in now. But then there's a price build-up to get to that point. Then the argument came that, look, National Petroleum Authority must play a role in this. There are benchmarks used to determine the prices of these particular products. Therefore, these benchmarks, if we leave it entirely as a result of deregulation to the private, if you like, businessman, at the end of the day, if checks are not there, it is the final consumer who will suffer because there will be some unnecessary profits being made. Hence, MPA must come in to play a supervisory role. Right. That is where I will say government came in a bit. But entirely, if you look at the price build-up, what I have here actually, if you look at the price build-up, that leads all of us up to how much fuel is supposed to be sold.
Can you take the document off your...
of course. Thank you. That tells us how much actually a liter of, if you like, gasoline or a liter of, if you like, diesel is supposed to be sold. Of course, we all understand what comes into it. Again, the major problem boils down to the cedi's depreciation, which I agree. Yes, where we are today, for me, I would have to say the truth, and all of us will have to say the truth. The cedi is clear, has depreciated, okay? And of course, the dollar is a bit on a higher side, which we all know. But there are so many factors that accounts to this. What we are saying is that the other economic indicators are not so bad. Question is, do we have a stable macroeconomic environment as we say today?
Do we have it?
Yes, we do. You agree with me? We do. Okay. The other fundamentals and indicators are clear, except to add that the cedi depreciation plays a major role in affecting the pricing of our petroleum products, which is our problem today. Therefore, how are we dealing with it? Simply, government must find a way of making sure that the position of the cedi comes down. What do we do? Black market. What are we doing about it? Now, as we say today, how well are we getting to substitute imports? We don't have much, and I think we have to look at it. So clearly, we would have some challenges today, but without a doubt, the economy.
Come on, you've done 7 minutes. Now, let me give you one more minute to deal with this, then I go to Sami. Now, the Institute for Energy Security and the minority are suggesting to government that there's a special petroleum tax.
Which we have.
It said, take it out.
Yeah.
And you can bring the price down. Is government ready to listen?
Yes. In my submission, if you heard me, I said we agreed to the build-up certain taxes imposed on us by Parliament of Ghana. Of course, and you would also agree with me that government would not just get up or cannot just get up within its own whims and caprices and announce that tomorrow the tax is off. You need to do that with recourse to Parliament, obviously.
Great.
You understand? So yes, these are suggestions, very excellent suggestions. And when you even look at the build-up, those margins for me add to the cost. And of course, there are other school of thoughts who will say, look, government should quickly do. Yes, government would have to listen. And don't
have to go through
Parliament. I am saying that this government is a listening government. Issues have come up and government has been able to deal with it. Look, nobody is interested in getting the Ghanaian afflicted with hardships. No. And we are going to make sure that the build-up, well, if we have to do take care of it in Parliament, I'm sure by the end of the day, government will do something to mitigate this.
Parliament is being recalled. We'll see what happens. Sami, let me come to you. Time now for you to talk. So, this is where we are. His prophet, actually seem to have agreed that these are suggestions that we can take a look at. The fuel price politics. How do we do it and fix this problem?
Bright, thank you. And let me say good morning to our cherished viewers. You know, yesterday, one of our MPP sisters on Facebook, by name Jennifer Pon or so, posted a message on her wall, which read that defending the current Akufo-Addo-Bawumia MPP government now is like explaining the origin of Almighty God. I don't know whether you saw that comment on Facebook. What that sister of ours was saying invariably is that defending the MPP now is like defending the indefensible, and that it is totally impossible to defend the super incompetence and cluelessness of the MPP government. This is an MPP lady speaking. And so I can understand the difficulty and frustrations of my senior brother Kamal Dean.
What difficulty did you find?
Because clearly you can see a certain confusion of thoughts in this presentation. In one breath, he says that the cost of petrol is going up because we are running a food deregulation system. In another breath, he agrees and concedes that the instability in our exchange rate is partly accounting for the increase in the price of fuel, and so on. I mean, who is responsible for the management of the exchange rate? Is it not you? And so you are contradicting yourself. Right. The truth, the sad truth, is that these are hard times for the Ghanaian people. And these are hard times because of the extreme economic hardship which we are facing as a country. And this economic hardship, this economic crisis, is mainly accounted for by the consistent and steep increment in the prices of fuel. It's mainly accounted for by the consistent depreciation, as a matter of fact, the free fall of the Ghana cedi, coupled with other factors like the astronomical increases of import duties that we have seen since this government assumed office. These are the major causes of the crisis we have on our hand today. Because you see, when your exchange rate is not stable, when your currency keep on depreciating like the Ghana cedi has been depreciating since they assumed office, the prices of fuel will go up. The prices of imports will go up. And that is going to worsen the standard of living of the people. Today, cost of living is so high that is unbearable for the vast majority of our people. And the question I ask is that why are we here as a country? Why are we in this economic malaise? We are here, right, because of the super incompetence and the cluelessness of Kamal Dean, Dr. Bawumia, and His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Because this economic hardship, the increments we are seeing in the prices of fuel, is a product of their incompetence. Had the exchange rate been stable, had the exchange rate remained at 4.2 Ghana cedis, fuel will not be selling, petrol will not be selling at 23 Ghana cedis per gallon today. So this is a clear result of the economic mismanagement we have seen under them. Again, we are here because of their insensitivity and callousness. That is one of the reasons why we are here. Because if this government was sensitive to the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian, it will not increase fuel at such a time where everybody is crying and where the masses are suffering. If this government was sensitive, it will still not maintain a special petroleum tax, a needless special petroleum tax of 13%. Listen, we introduced a special petroleum tax in 2014 because at the time we had projected we had projected, you know, we export oil and we make a lot of foreign exchange through that, and we had projected that the price per barrel of oil was going to sell at about $99. But due to the fact that the price of oil plummeted on the international market, that came down from $99 to about, you know, $44. And so instead of the projected 4.2 billion that we had, you know, projected to rake in, we're going to rake in just about 1.5 billion, a shortfall of about 2.7 billion. And so under a certificate of agency, we introduced this special petroleum tax of 17.5% to make up for this shortfall. Our brothers in MPP then described that tax as a nuisance tax. As a matter of fact, their member of parliament for Asokwa, K.T. Hammond, said it was a criminal act, a useless act. Dr. Michael Sibeyewa, who is now their chairperson for the finance committee, said that he was going to resist the introduction of that tax with his blood. Now you come into office, the price per barrel of oil has not been reduced. As a matter of fact, it's been increasing.
and you are raking in more revenue as a result of that. We have more oil as a country because of the discovery of the 10 Jinyame Sankofa fields. And the price per barrel of oil on the international market has been going up. And so there cannot be any justification for the special petroleum tax again. And so that 13% special petroleum tax that we are paying now is totally needless. And if this government was sensitive about the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian, it would have scrapped that a long time ago. Again, Bright, why are we here? We are here because as a country, we have elected into office a braggadocious talkative in the person of Dr. Bawumia, who only knows how to talk and promise without any corresponding action. What didn't they say when they were in opposition? Now my brother wants to, pontificate about fuel politics and all that. They said that we were incompetent. They labeled us as lazy people. They boasted that they had a man, and that if given the opportunity, they could stabilize the exchange rate and bring down the cost of fuel. At the time you came in, one needed just 4 Ghana cedis, 20 pesos to get $1. Now you need more than 5 Ghana cedis to get $1. At the time you came in, one needed just 5 cedis, 20 pesos to get £1. Now you need 6 cedis, 30 pesos to get £1. At the time you came in, one needed just 4 cedis, 40 pesos to get €1. Now we need 5 cedis, 40 pesos to get €1. The saddest thing is that our cedi, and that is so shameful, one cannot even understand, is even struggling against the French CFA. Ask the businesswomen and traders who go to Ivory Coast, Mali, Togo to transact businesses. Their businesses are collapsing. That is why workers are being laid off every day in this country.
Get ready to
our living conditions are worsening by the day. What we want to hear Kamal Dean and our brothers in the MPP talk about are the measures they are putting in place to resolve these economic challenges. By now, any serious government would have aligned measures within the short to medium term to address this problem. You listen to them, and they are only seeking to equalize and rationalize their own incompetence. They are not putting forth any concrete measures that they are putting in place to arrest the dollar and to stabilize the cedi. They are not telling us how they are going to bring the cost of fuel down. They are not telling us how they are going to cushion the Ghanaian against the raw impact of these increases. It's just talk, and you are not hearing any solutions. Come on. We did not elect you into office to come and talk. We need solutions. Businesses are collapsing. You see, you have been a massive disappointment to the people of this country. You have failed the trotro and taxi drivers who campaigned vigorously for then candidate Akufo-Addo in the run-up to the 2016 elections. You have failed the Abuso spare parts dealers who contributed a whooping 2 billion old Ghana cedis to the 2016 campaign of Nana Danko Akufo-Addo. You have failed the contractor who you promised that you were going to pay their outstanding, debts owed by the states to them within your first 100 days. Wow. You have failed the youth of this country. Where is the factories you promised to build in all districts? Okay. Where are the dams? Okay. Where is the $1 million you promised every constituency every year? Where are the jobs you promised them? You are not making any investments in the creation of employment and in the creation of wealth and prosperity for our people. There has not been any commensurate increase in our incomes, and therefore our purchasing power has been weakened by you. And yet the price of everything is going up because of the alarming depreciation of our cedi. Check the price of gari, check the price of rice, check the LPG gas. At the time we were living office, and I'll be concluding with this. I'll be wrapping up with this. At the time, you are in government now, so you should do more of the listening and allow us to talk. What do you want to say?
No, wrap up.
The 14.5 kg
just about 45 seconds.
The 14.5 kg LPG cylinder used to go for 54 Ghana cedis. Do you know the cost of filling that same 14.5 kg cylinder? 82 Ghana cedis. About 80% increment in the price of LPG gas alone since they assumed office. So their incompetence is legendary. And what I'm saying is that they must sit down and work. They must come up with measures that within the short term, this is our plan. To arrest the dollar, to stabilize the cedi. This is our plan to bring down the price of fuel or to cushion the Ghanaian against the raw impact of it. That is what we want to hear.
Okay, Sammy, I'm
not
grateful.
these excuses.
Okay. I'm grateful. Dr.
Excuses.
quickly come in here. So I think the key thing. Yes, I'll get you the chance to. I don't want us to believe the key thing is that we're told that all this problem can be resolved if we have a cedi that can stand on its own, on its feet.
Well, I think, right, let me start by making reference to the caption as captured on your television that's now discussing the fuel price hikes. ICU suggests national dialogue. I don't know what ICU is. ICU
That's Industrial and Commercial Workers Union.
Okay. Right. I think that's a laudable suggestion, but I think what is just happening now is indicative and reflective of the kind of dialogue we'll be having. Because I
might have to go and moderate the dialogue.
That's fine. So that is where we are. But you see, I think right, beyond the politics, the reality on the ground is that no Ghanaian, no matter who you are, whether you are NDC or MPP, will be happy about what we are going through now. Because you see, the bane of our economy is fuel. Our economy is one that, I mean, it revolves around transportation, fuel price. And the kind of transportation that we have, unfortunately, happens to be vehicular. We don't have any alternative source of transportation, such as train and stuff like that. So, even as it stands now, we are even anticipating that there's going to be a full increase in lorry fares. I'm told there's a negotiation between GPRTU, and legitimately so. So if there's increment in lorry fares, definitely it's going to have effect on inflation, and it's going to have effect on my standard of living and my income. So I'll definitely be calling for what? An increment in salary. So I would have thought that, look, let's look at how we can have a consensus dialogue to look at how we can address this issue. You asked the question about the dollar. When I listened to my two good brothers, it looks as if the consensus is that this whole fuel price hike is informed by what? The volatility of what? The dollar. And I listened to both of them, but I mean, respectfully, I think they are both at fault. The truth of the matter is that the NDC left the dollar to the NPP at 4.2, but they took it at 1.2. Under Mills. President Mills took the dollar at 1.2. President Mahama took it at 1.8. That's the fact. There are so many factors and reasons associated to that. So the blame game wouldn't work. And I strongly agree with my brother Sammy that the NPP has that responsibility to address the issues. But in as much as they have that responsibility, the NDC also have a responsibility to give us what? Alternatives. What do they want to do differently?
People, they don't listen.
No. Me. I an independent voter. It's not about him. It's about me.
At a point.
Right. Today I'm buying fuel at 5.10 because the dollar is 5.0 thereabout. The NPP took it at 4.2. They've run it to 4 point. They haven't left office yet.
20 months.
And by the nature, but Sammy, you took it at 1.2. Let's face it.
No, but they said they had a man. They said they were competent. They organized elections.
Sammy, stop this cheap politics.
That is what we voted out.
No, stop this cheap politics. Let's have it.
I think as a country, we need to seriously look at how we can address this dollar issue. Because...
But how do we do that?
Well, it's about production. It's simple. I'm not an
economist.
Do we see
it being done?
It's about...
Do we see it being
done? Listen, right. I heard the Minister for Information, Kojo Ponkroma, make the point that Ghana has done well because if you look at what is happening in Australia, India, and all those kind of countries, the rate has, I mean, the difference is very high because the Trump administration is doing well. Then I ask myself, why are we not doing well? We need to do well too.
If the Trump administration
is doing well,
we are even struggling against the CFA.
Let me finish. We need to do well too. But the truth is that the bane of this problem is our import-export. We import more than we export.
Who should stop it?
Something needs to be done about it.
That's factories.
Something needs to be done. Let me finish. Something needs to be done about it. I do not think that it is fair on the part of the NDC when they want the MPP administration to perform magic now. I would want to see tangible, and when Sammy says, where's the one district? I mean, they are legitimate, what do they call it, questions. Because the NDC, MPP promised that they were going to give us one district, one factory. I've said I don't subscribe to that. Because one district, one factory for an economy of ours is not sustainable. You cannot build, 270 districts in Ghana. They wouldn't be districts. I want to see something, probably 5 or 10, maybe even in the first 4 years. If the president or this government can give us even 5 factories just to take care of oil, sugar, rice, it's gradual. You get a point. If we are able to do this gradually, we are able to purge ourselves of excessive imports.
Of course it is gradual, but do we see the status? Do we see something being started? Practical?
Kamal Dini is the one who's supposed to make the case. He's supposed to tell me what they have done in terms of what? The status. What are they doing relative to what? One district, one factory. What are they doing relative to what? One village, one dam. You know, I mean, let's face it. Comparatively, if you look at the first 2 years of the Mahama administration, vis-a-vis the first 2 years of the Nana Addo administration, even within the spectrum of even the dollar, which is the subject of discussion now, you jump to the conclusion that this period is doing far better than the Mahama first 2 years. There's no doubt about it. There's no debate about it. The factors and the variables as at that time might differ from today. If you listen to an NDC person, you tell that, look, we're in court and investor confidence was very low. As to whether that's true or not, that's a different debate altogether. But I'm not interested in comparing apples and oranges. The MPP need to understand that in 2016, there was a revolution. A revolution in the sense that the Ghanaian citizenry bought into their argument what they wanted to do. So we gave them the mandate, and not just a mandate of a 1 million vote difference. So when Professor Jampo, my very good friend, says that when the MPP is comparing itself to Mahama administration, by virtue of their performance, is marks of mediocrity, I totally agree with him. We did not vote for President Mahama. We voted for Nana Addo. And I have always said, I don't know how long when you plant cocoa, how long does it take for it to bear fruits?
I hear these days we have 3 years.
3 years. So I want to give Nana Addo at least 3 years before I'll be able to make any serious assessment of him. Now, I'll give him the benefit of that. But the truth is that in today's Ghana, people are complaining. Fuel prices at 5.12. Even we haven't got into Christmas. The dollar at 5 point something. We need to see concrete steps. We need to see some magic being done. Because if you look at what happened in 2016, it was magical, it was messianic, and we bought into it. So we need to see something being done. But I don't think the NDC have the moral authority to criticize the MPP relative to the dollar as of now.
They cannot.
They have to be measured in their criticism. They have to be measured. I'm not saying they should not.
They
have every legitimate reason to criticize them, but they have to be measured. Because when you do a comparison of their first 2 years and that of this current administration, especially within the spectrum of the management of what? The dollar vis-a-vis the cedi, their record does not get close to what the MPP is doing. But I think the MPP need to do well, and they need to do it as quick and fast as possible.
Okay. Come on, we need to discuss men's goals. Be smart. We're giving 2 minutes to react to Sammy. Sammy also have his turn.
Sammy,
we discuss men's goals.
He's also going to have it. Yeah, okay, no problem. That's fine. That's fine. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
With all the time. That's fine. That's fine. You see, Bright, Sammy can choose to do all the politics with the current trends that we have. I don't fault him at all. Of course, like Doc said, we sit here as astute political animals. We sit here as communicators of government and, if you like, communicators of opposition or the minority. Fine. Therefore, we do have our positions. But what actually is a fact and is a fact cannot be hidden. What is government doing? I want Ghanaians who are watching us this morning to know that the current price of petroleum products, but for the intervention that the government of the day instituted from April this year to where we are today, okay, would have rather been higher. And it's clear. We have what we call the stabilization recovery levy.
I thought you were going to concentrate on what government is doing to.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
So that we don't
that's what I'm talking about.
The
stabilization recovery levy, which is supposed to be part of the build-up that many don't explain out there. You understand? To the understanding of the populace, which is part of the build-up, okay, that will give us the price of petroleum product out there, has actually been taken away or out by government. Over 12 pesos or more. This is part of it. It's part of the mitigation measures that we have actually instituted. As we said today, I want to agree that yes, indeed, government has a huge role to play in managing the city for us. That I agree with you. And I'm saying that already we all agree the factors that, of course, cause this downtrend, movement of the city, and we all know. Again, what is government doing? Doc and other people have suggested, let's get out there, look at the special petroleum tax that we brought in and see if we can scrap it. Then I said, look, this government went further to reduce it and made sure that we move it from the petroleum, special petroleum tax to a fixed, if you like, tax as it were. So we actually did something by reducing it in a way. But then the argument is that just take it off, if that is also a problem to us. You can sit here, do all the politics, call people talkatives, insult elders, say whatever you want to say. Of course, no. Please, let me make my point.
Come on.
No, I have not said, well.
Kamal, I'm just bringing to your attention that he's not insulted anybody.
Oh, he's not. But he's called people braggarts.
And that is an insult.
I don't think that if someone says
it depends on how you say it.
Okay.
But it depends on how you say it. But you can sit here, look at elders in the face, look at people who, of course, have carved a niche for themselves, people who have had papers written, articles written, and, of course, have been celebrated. Look at them, insult them, but then do that at your own peril as you grow. It's politics we're doing. Let's be careful about it. But I'm not getting emotional about it. All I'm saying is that nobody is happy, okay, about what is happening today. And again, I did point to all of us here that we have not been here today because this is the first time we're here. Therefore, they have the moral right, like Doctor said, they have the moral right to go on that tangent and say, call people incompetent. Look, not too long ago, you sat in this country and told us that you were a dead goat. You never care. Whatever they say, you don't care. You won't even listen. Today, you are telling them we don't listen.
Come on, we are not advancing.
We are not. That is the way he wants us to go. And we have to.
If you go this
not too long ago, people said
on how to deal with this.
They don't even care about your plight. But they don't care.
But
whatever happens, you can go ahead.
That is why fuel prices have gone up.
That is not why.
So
but that's the way the discourse is turning.
Yes, but I don't want
so if that is the way we have to go
deal
with this particular discussion, that is the way we go.
You have mentioned the fact that government will take a look at this special.
Government has made. I just cited what we have done.
Yes.
The stabilization recovery levy, for instance, which was supposed to be part of the build-up, has actually been taken out by government. And I said from April this year to where we are today, that is not part of the build-up. That tells you that government of the day is actually working towards making sure that we mitigate the suffering of the people on the ground.
I am grateful. Sami Kamin, you have just about 2 minutes.
Right.
So don't take us back. No. Let's see what we can do to fix the problem.
All the key issues that I need to respond to. But I'm a bit surprised at you. And I'm surprised because you keep on asking Kamal Dean for solutions.
Why?
You see, it's like you've not been listening to what they are clueless.
Oh,
they don't have any solutions. He's been speaking for the past 15 to 20 minutes. Has he been able to give you any concrete solution?
Because you refuse to.
Has he been able to tell you the measures and the mechanism that this government intends to put in place to resolve this problem? Let me proceed. It is for Ghanaians and our viewers to judge.
You want to hear, so you can say clueless. Go ahead.
I think you should spare me this hypocrisy, and spare me these petty lies that you tell on shows. I have not insulted anybody. I am justified to call Dr. Bawumia a braggart because the children in this country even know that he's a braggart. They remember all the lectures he held. They remember all the things he said about the depreciation CD then, what he promised, and what the outcomes have been now. So please, you should be tolerant enough to take, criticisms in your stride. You, when you were in opposition, labeled former President Mahama as incompetent.
You even called him lazy.
No, he labeled himself a dead
Otiko Jaba called him wicked.
No, but
you were not insulting people who are born ahead of you. You were not insulting people who have carved and rich for themselves. So please,
I want us to
stop
deal
this
with
hypocrisy and let's deal with the issues.
I said he labeled himself a dead goat.
Kama spoke about what they have already done to mitigate the problem. You see, my brother, you are reminding me about what the Holy Book, the Bible, says about Lucifer. Because Lucifer is the only one who gives something good with the right hand and takes it back with the left. That is what you've been doing. You give a 1% reduction and then you increase it by 5%. Since you came into office, you have increased the price of fuel over more than 40%. And you are here talking about 12 pesos reduction and all. That is, chicken change, insignificant. So I think you should not be celebrating that mediocrity. Again, I disagree with those who are calling for a dialogue to resolve these challenges. I disagree with
Doc. We don't need a dialogue?
No, we don't need a dialogue. We do not need somebody. Okay, you agree with ICU. But you see, I agree with the ICU. I disagree with the ICU because you don't need a dialogue to arrest the dollar. Dr. Bawumia told us that he had already arrested the dollar and he handed over the keys to the IGP. Now the dollar is a fugitive of justice. Why must we sit down, talk over this before we can arrest the dollar? When he was in opposition and he was organizing lectures, castigating us left, right, center, did he call for a dialogue? So we are asking for results. We do not need a dialogue to bring import duties down. Importers and exporters are crying. The Bosoka spare part dealers are going on a demonstration because their businesses are collapsing. Why do we need a dialogue to solve this? They know the solutions. They can do that. Today, under a certificate of urgency, they can withdraw the special petroleum tax. They can remove it and bring the price of fuel down. So we do not need a dialogue. And again, in response to what Doc said, that we in the NDC are being harsh in our criticisms of this government that we should tone down, I disagree with him on that point. Because you see, we are holding the MPP to the same standard and mattress they laid down when they were in opposition.
Cheap politics.
To the MPP. Oh, so you were doing cheap politics then,
cheap politics.
You were doing cheap politics then. When you said that the fundamentals of our economy were weak, because of the instability in the exchange rate. So when you were promising Ghanaians that you had you had competent men to stabilize the currency, you were doing cheap politics. We are holding you to that same standard. We are Ghanaians. You have the mandate now. You have the responsibility to stabilize the cedi, to arrest the dollar, to cushion the Ghanaian against these increments in fuel. You have the responsibility to, increase the incomes of public sector workers to be commensurate with this increment in the cost of living and all that. And so you cannot be telling us that, you could criticize us, but we cannot criticize you. And what is this thing about, we picked the dollar from 1.2?
But that's a fact.
My brother, where did they pick it from in 2000? Ask them. So should we go back to the 80s? Listen.
Okay, all right.
You see your problem. You see, please allow me to conclude. My concluding remark.
Come on, please allow him to conclude. We're not going back to.
You now have a loopholes.
Let's ask the question. I'll give you the answer. I'll give you the answer. That's a good one.
Listen, their problem is that they celebrate and glorify themselves in mediocrity. You did not promise a lower rate of depreciation. Right. You promise stability. You promise a situation where our cedi can appreciate against the major currencies of the world. Today, the cedi is even struggling against the CFA, not the dollar, not the pound, not the euro. So you have been a monumental failure, and you should admit that. Now, in conclusion, we all agree that we can solve this problem. Like he said, we need to substitute our imports. We need to produce more, export more in the long term and all that. But you see, he cannot be talking the way we are talking, because he's in government. So they must be telling us the measures they intend to put in place. That is what I keep on saying. How do you intend to arrest this situation? All you know how to do is how to appoint family, friends, and relatives into government.
Okay. You have
how to waste the taxpayers' money.
Right. I have wrapped up this conversation on fuel. I have wrapped up on this conversation. Gentlemen, I have wrapped up on this conversation. I have moved on. Gentlemen, I have moved on. Gentlemen, I have moved on. Let me go to Daily Graphic.
We don't have such a president.
Sons and
Come on.
daughters, nephews and cousins into government.
If you relate the president, you can't do business.
Oh, you can do business.
Your president can
okay, you have answered my question. Now let's go to Daily Graphic. Now, some aggrieved customers of Men's Gold. Gentlemen, please, let's wrap up the conversation this morning with Men's Gold. It's a running story. Doc, let me come to you. It's just 1 minute each. We are wrapping up. We're unfortunately we're wrapping up.
Yes. Very quickly, I think this whole Men's Gold issue, I mean, government has to give clarity relative to what it is, in the sense that we are told the gentleman or whoever is operating that company doesn't have a license. So if he doesn't have a license, what needs to be done?
For one of the businesses.
Yeah, for one. I mean, Men's Gold, where those guys go to deposit their money.
Right. He has several businesses, so it's just one.
So you see, right, just to cut, to make it very simple, there are two sides of this whole issue. You can look at the legal issue, which is that he doesn't have a license, so he needs to close down. And you can also look at what? The social welfare aspect. What happens in terms of what? A closure. I've heard people say that with a closure, we are going to have mass funerals in this country. I think government has a responsibility to step in and to come out with a proposition in terms of what? A solution. I think it's quite worrying that we haven't even had any official statement from government. Government needs to assure the good people of this country that, look, even if this company or this organization is illegal and we are shutting it down, customers will be assured of what? Their monies that have been deposited with them. I've heard a number of people within the ND's MPP fraternity who have said that those people who happen to have deposited are greedy. I mean, man by nature is egoistic and greedy. I mean, by our nature, if it's natural. Some of them have it's a fact, right? If I have relatives, Sammy, I have relatives who have deposited their money there, and they lured me too, but I refuse. So I think something needs to be done about it. We cannot just allow it to the uncertainty. I understand yesterday there were people who went there and their monies were not refunded, and there seems to be, a creeping, a creeping sense of anxiety, and if we are not very careful, it might escalate, and we will not be able to. I think government needs to take a position.
Okay, come on.
Okay, that's fine. Where we are, that's fine. That's fine. No, don't worry. No. Where we are on this Men's Gold issue, quite worrying, but a simple matter has appeared to be a big matter now. Because I believe that we should have institutions working greatly. We should have institutions working in the sense that monitoring and ensuring that whatever business that is registered and doing or embarking on an operation here in this country, of course, is doing it with the right, if you like, or in the right channels, if you like. Men's Gold didn't start today, didn't start yesterday. Men's Gold has a history, spanning from the ex-While administration, to where we are today. They've been on board. We are told that the Minerals Commission had calls to grant them license to purchase gold and export same. That is the license they have. However, they decided to be innovative and went beyond just buying gold and exporting same to say, let us get customers to buy into, if you like, domestic arrangements that we do have as well. Come with your cash, buy some worth of gold, then leave the gold with us, then we would do trade with it and get you some dividends as a result. This is the arrangement they made. Then SEC at a point comes in to say, what you're doing amounts to securities trading. You need to have a license from us, that's SEC, which is Securities and Exchange Commission. Is that not right? You need to have license. I thought, why I said it was a simple matter, I thought we could just get to them, sit with them properly, spell out our functions to them as SEC, which we have 5 cardinal functions. Tell them that, look, XYZ you are doing falls under commodities, falls under deposit or collectibles and all that. Therefore, you need a license. Then, of course, you regulate the operations. It would have been silent. But we sat down as a system, watch, The person grows, get a lot of customers in place. Then the next moment, hey, shut down. I mean, for me, the approach was a bit quite not too professional to me. Not too professional to me. Okay. But where are we today? I heard the head of SEC saying that, look, if we don't tread cautiously, we're going to have national funerals in place. We can remind ourselves of DKM. We can remind ourselves. No, I'm coming. We can remind ourselves of DKM. We can also remind ourselves of Piram. You remember those days? All these things had happened in this country. Can we take our time to look into this matter thoroughly? Men's Gold says, hey, we are not wrong by the law, to the extent that they've gone to get some British lawyers who have written to SEC saying that, look, hey, we have reviewed the entire laws of this country and we think that our client is good to go. The lawyers internally also say safe. So I believe this impasse can be resolved just by understanding that these are your operations. This is the way you should go. And we move.
Okay,
we streamline it and move.
Sammy, please wrap up.
But then we make it look so big.
I agree with the submissions of Doc on this matter. For the first time, I fully associate myself with the position of my brother Kamaldeen. I think that this matter has not been handled properly. This is not any, issue which is so serious that it cannot be handled and resolved amicably.
And particularly as a local business.
Yes, you know my worry and my concern. My concern is that, the financial sector thrives on public confidence. And so you do not do anything which will erode public confidence in that sector. What is being done is that consistently the panic button is being pressed by institutions of state relative to some of these financial institutions. And that is leading to a situation where these institutions are having a run on them. Depositors are trooping to their premises to, prematurely withdraw their investments, their monies, and so on. And what that will eventually lead to is the collapse of these institutions. But if we had, handled this matter properly, what do I mean by that? There was no need for SEC's letter to Men's Gold to have been leaked to the media. To have been leaked to the media. Because once you do that, especially when this area is a gray area, an unexplored area, you understand? Okay. And government is not too sure about the position it has taken.
Sammy, I'm grateful.
Government, no, I need to conclude. Must spread cautious because you can hate you can dislike President Kufuor, but there is one thing that objectively, one credit that you have to give him. Under President Kufuor, the private sector thrived. You can hate Professor Mills and His Excellency former President John Dramani Mahama, but you must be fair to give them the credit that under them we saw a lot of investment in infrastructure. This government is becoming an expert in killing people's business. That is not true. The approach they are adopting to the resolution, please. It's not a shouting match, my brother. It's not a shouting match. You've had your back. I'm saying that the way they are going about some of these issues leaves much to be desired. I think that they can handle these matters amicably and resolve the issues without leaking letters to the press, without creating unnecessary fear and panic in the system, which will erode public confidence.
Is a member of the NDC, vying for National Communications Officer of the party. Kamaldeen is a Deputy National Communications Director of the NPP, and Dr. Ahmed Jenapo is a lecturer, University of Education, Winnipeg. Again, we're grateful for your Thursday morning with us. Have a wonderful day, and you stay right here. There's more coming up on the show.
So these are the cars, and they're all vintage cars. The cars here are 1975 and below.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. My music hits me so hard, makes me say, oh my Lord, thank you for blessing me. What am I to run and do like me to feel
Let me say good morning to my brother Ben Koppel, man. Sweet, 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 fantastic there. Now, this is a precursor to the second edition of the Royal Senchi Classic Car Show. If you were there at the first, you would have seen that too. People get vintage cars. Oh, you can't drive some new Kako, you say they get cars. No, slow down, my brother. Slow down. Emmanuel Mensah is Sales and Marketing Manager of Royal Senchi and is here with Nana Kwejo Boahene. Chief, good morning. Long time, man, Charlie. Cool, Charlie.
Looking sharp as always.
Yeah, Charlie, I'm trying to be like you.
Oh, don't go there.
Man, Charlie, last year, fantastic.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing. And I kept wondering, do we still have these vintage cars around? People still have them safe and secure from all alarm?
John, I was shocked last year, but I'm getting more shocked this year.
Tell me about it.
Because the kind of vehicles that we are seeing that are being brought together for this show, it's amazing.
Huh.
And you know, we're doing this in collaboration with Gold Coast Classics. There's a club in Ghana.
Right.
Owners of classic cars.
Okay.
We're talking Citroens, we're talking Mercedes Fintails, we're talking what do you call them? Jaguars, Maseratis. We're talking Rolls Royce cars.
Okay.
Serious stuff.
From back in the day.
30 years and back.
Wow.
Serious stuff. And let me not say everything, but a lot is happening. A lot is happening. I'm shocked. And they've kept it so well. It looks as good as new. It's amazing, yes.
So what's the plan for this year?
Yes.
When do we start?
So this is starting on Friday. The vehicles are driving in.
Okay.
And, you know, people can drive these cars all the way from Accra to Senchi.
Okay.
And they're in good shape.
Wow.
Yes. So all the cars are driving in on Friday. The main activity, though, is on Saturday. It starts from 10 in the morning.
Okay.
10 in the morning. So we're going to have our usual speeches. We're doing this in collaboration, again, with the National Cardiothoracic Center.
Absolutely.
Kolebu.
Absolutely.
Now, what it is this. What it is this. Vintage cars needs a lot of good maintenance.
Absolutely.
So you have been able to have kept them for this long. Okay. And we're saying that when it comes to heart conditions, you need to take very good care of yourself.
Okay.
To be able to last long in life. Okay. So
I see the correlation.
That's the whole idea.
Okay.
So it's preventive medicine, preventive maintenance.
The better you take care of it, the longer you live. Yeah. The better you take care of the car, the longer it is. So Saturday is the mainstay. Yes. But tell me, Chief, Friday, what's happening? So what we driving on Friday? What go on?
All right. So Friday we have, like Emmanuel said earlier, we have all the cars, you know, driving in on Friday. Okay. Where we'll arrange them, you know, at the exact location where the event will take place. Right. So it's going to happen close to our Dua Clubhouse, which is a new restaurant that we've come up with. Okay. You should say it, of course. I mean, so there'll be socialization. You know, there'll be music, there'll be drinks, there'll be barbecues. Okay. You know, so and people who will be coming in on Friday, since it's a holiday, should take the opportunity. You know, come and sample some of the barbecue and drinks that we have on, you know, on offer that day. So
you see, the offer is juicy, plenty. How much does it cost for me to, for example, take part in the barbecue?
Okay, so we have a special barbecue by our Chef Freeman, which is going for 65 CDs.
Only.
So you just pay 65 CD. And you can
Chef Freeman.
Yes.
65 CDs.
Yes. I'm telling you.
Why have you reduced the price?
You eat as much as you know you can take.
Wow.
So it's sort of like a buffet, you know, kind of thing. So you pay 65 CDs, and then it's all like, you know, it's all yours. So you can eat as much as you want.
You can't have a vintage car show without a jam. Tell me about the jam.
John.
I'm itchy because you can't have a vintage car show. You know when you drive a vintage car, you roll up or maybe you roll down. If you have, you know, you take everything back.
Yes.
And then you have a sports car. You louch in a little and you toss up your jam.
And just, you know.
So tell me about the jam.
So the old school jam is what we call it. Vintage car is old school.
Okay.
Okay. So we are not going to be playing a few modern songs here and there, but it's really old school. We are talking music from the 70s, 80s, and maybe 90s.
Right.
And it's happening from 9 p.m. on Saturday. So that is going to be something
That
else.
is a giving.
You know, and the thing is this. As I'm talking to you now, the hotel is full. So already we are talking double occupancy of about what? Close to 200 people.
So if I come in on Friday, Saturday, where am I going to sleep?
But
I'm sure you can always work magic for
we can always sort something out. I mean, the area, there are a lot of hotels around. Okay. But most important thing, you can drive in on Saturday. Okay. Just come and have fun. Okay. And I want to say, for those who have vintage cars and classics that they've been hidden in their garages for years, put it together. Okay. Give it a test. Drive
and come to the show.
Stretch it a little.
You know, stretch it. Come, bring it to the show.
Are we going to be confined to Royal Senchi, or we're going to be driving to meet some royalty or something like that?
So that would be the climax of the show, and this is happening on Sunday.
Okay.
And the regent of our area, you know, the overlord, Odeniho Kwafakoto, has agreed to host us at Akwemu Fie.
Right.
That is a presidency of the Akwemu area on Sunday. So last year we drove to the Akosombo Dam, and sadly some of the cars couldn't drive up there. It wasn't easy. But this one we are just doing the Adomi Bridge, and then to Akwemu Fie, and Nana would host Odeniho will host us, and that would be the crowning of the whole event.
Preventative medicine, preventative maintenance.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about with the Cardiothoracic Center.
Yes.
Are you raising funds to support the Cardiothoracic
Absolutely.
Center?
I mean, you can. I mean, we all know that the Cardio Center is doing a lot of great things in Ghana, and a lot goes into running that place. You know. So yes, we are doing a fundraiser, a very massive one at Royal Senchi to support them.
My brother, tell me, who is funding this? Who is supporting you to do this?
Okay, so
sports shortly.
Let me take this opportunity to say thank you to most of our sponsors. You know, so we have UMB Investments Holding, we have GOAL, we have First Atlantic Bank, and then we have Alliance Motors, and of course the Royal Senchi. So this is to say thank you to you. So they are supporting us, you know, to put all this together.
Very
so,
much so.
So let's say, final question. I have a car. My dad left me an old Bentley.
Okay.
I have it, but we haven't driven it for like a year. Can I participate? And I know the car is safe, it's good, it's sweet. Once I crank the engine, I'm gone.
Do you know what it means to have a bragging right for the whole year?
No, I don't know. Tell me.
So when you drive a car like that to the Royal Senchi for this show, you're going to be the toast of the event.
The toast of the event.
And everybody's going to be talking about you for the rest of the year. To the next one.
Man, you can't miss it. And guess
Right, and thanks so much for staying there. Newday has more before we wrap up. My guest this morning is in the race to lead the NPP, the NDC, pardon me, as the chairman for the next years. And he has told the delegates that indeed he's a man who can fix the job. Sure, you know him, Alhaji Huduyaya is here. Good morning, and hope you're doing great.
Yes, sir.
The last time,
you too, sir.
I am very good. The last time I heard about you, I remember Alhaji Huduyaya, PNDC secretary. It was long ago. Now you're vying to lead the NDC as the chairperson. What is it that makes you the candidate of choice?
Well, the candidate of choice is with the people. It's the people who determine. You know, I may see myself in some way. The delegates may see me in another way. But the point of what I intend to do is to contribute what I can to move the party from its current stage to another step further. One, by ensuring that the values and principles upon which the party was founded, at least, is strengthened and deepened. And everybody knows that we've been saying it. We are a grassroots party. We are a social democratic party. Social democracy is a part, you know, is a system by which a government, of course through a party, will develop the country based on liberal economy, free market economy, but tempering the economic policies by measures that kind of protect the ordinary person so that they do not face the full rigors of market forces. In other words, you don't leave the entire system onto market forces because of the ordinary people who are vulnerable.
Right.
Right. Now, our principles of the party has been deepening the democracy at the grassroots. Within our party and nationally, if we are forming governments, to ensure that. Then also the structures, to strengthen the structures of the party, you know, further more than what it is at the moment. You know, deepen political education, because we are a social democratic party and we need members to continue to understand what the party stands for. Currently, the party has instituted the Institute of Social Democracy, of which I am a I'm a faculty member. Right. I teach at that place. So these are some of the measures that, and of course, no party can be strong without discipline. I will ensure that
discipline.
Discipline. We call it party discipline.
Okay. This is an institution you want to lead, the NDC. Now tell me, what is the state of the NDC now? Let's diagnose the problem and see how you intend to solve it. What is the state of the NDC as a party?
The state of the NDC as a party is a party
that is party in crisis?
No, it's not.
It's not in crisis.
It's not in crisis at all. Far from crisis. We rather seek to deepen the current state of the party. Move it to a higher ground. The party is not at all in crisis. And in fact, let me tell you that the party is quite active. And, as a party whose origins are from the grassroots, of course, a party which also has inherited a lot from the PNDC, it has got some of the values, that allow the people to express themselves, that allow the people to, own the party, ownership of the party. So sitting from outside, when the people are expressing themselves, you may make the mistake of thinking that, no, this party is in crisis. It's not in crisis. And of course, contradictions in general are not to be feared. It is only when you don't manage the contradictions. Because contradictions, they bring about change. In fact, change management, they will tell you, that when you sit at one particular place for a long time, you wouldn't realize the opportunities you are losing by keep sitting there. When in actual fact, if you had moved, you would have realized that, hey, there are better opportunities out there. So, if it's a dynamic party, I would say.
If your founder says that the party has lost the very values of which it was founded, what does he mean?
Well, he said so. Maybe he's not satisfied at the pace at which we are going. Maybe he's not satisfied with how we should have moved on certain aspects of society development or certain aspects of our governance when we're in government, and which he has every right to express that, because he has been leader of the party and he's the founder of the party. He definitely has expectations, and he would have wished that we met those expectations. So it is for us to go back to the drawing board and look. We shouldn't completely discard it. We should take it. In fact, he will not be the only person. We have some of our cadres who also express that kind of concern. So, and it is good, because to sit down without criticism and counter-criticism, you will make progress.
So this is one of the things you're taking on board in your attempt at leading the NDC?
Definitely. I would want the party to be very clear in terms of being a home for the ordinary man.
How do you intend to do that?
Well, the point is, let me say that I will not do it alone per se. The constitution of our party says that the role of the chairman of the party is to preside over FEC meetings once a week. Our FEC meetings are weekly. To preside over a National Executive Committee meeting, which comes on quarterly, once every 3 months. To preside over Congress, which comes on once every 4 years. So you can see that you are not a one-man thousand. So it is for you to use your skills as chairman of these various functions
units of the party.
Of the party, to use your skills as a leader to try to get everybody on board. And of course, you will also profile ideas based on where you are coming from. Say that the various key players that you are working with, you try to engineer to get this done. This is these are the measures. Until we amend the constitution, currently this is what the role of the chairman is. And I have played various roles within the party. I've helped to engineer things from behind the scenes. If I'm chairman, definitely that will come more to the fore, Yes. When I say I help to engineer, like for example, I'll give you an example. We cannot achieve what the party seeks to achieve if there's no unity in the party. But of course,
that's one thing you will spend your energies on.
A lot.
Unity.
But remember, there's no perfect society where there are no conflicts. Even marital homes, there are differences. And as I told you, contradictions are facts of life.
I see.
Contradictions are facts of life. But it is how you resolve the contradictions that will push you to the next stage. And I have been chairman of the the Reconciliation Committee of the party, helping to resolve differences and so on and so forth.
And use that expertise to run the party as a chairman. Are you really contesting?
I'm contesting. Why do you ask?
You pulled out the last time.
I did.
Your supporters were not happy.
And they are still not happy.
They think you're doing same this time too.
Why? What about?
Why? I think you pull out at the last minute.
Oh, I see. Well, I will need to consult a sorcerer to see, because it looks like they are already reading into the future. Why do they?
But you are contesting.
I'm contesting. I'm contesting as national chairman. I pulled out the last time because leadership of party had discussions with me, and I know you're driving at that, so let me take you there right away. That the flag bearer and me as chairman were coming from one part of the country, the region, one region, of the country. And so looking at the strategies that were being worked out, it would look like it would not help us in the election, 2016 election. I did not subscribe, but of course, in party you don't go by your one individual ambition or mind. You look at the collective. So I respected the collective, and I said, I'm coming as chairman to help the party win, to help strengthen the party. If I'm being told that my chairmanship will deny us, fine, I'm prepared to forgive,
That's why you stepped down.
That was why I stepped down. So I stepped down for the larger interests of the party. But you may ask me what is different now. What is different is that, unfortunately, we did not quite achieve what we, So I think that we should look at other strategies. We should look more than where a person comes from. Let's give people the opportunity based on what we think they can do.
The supporters of the party are looking at someone who would bring the NDC from opposition into government. How would Alhaji Hudu Yahya chairmanship of a party bring the NDC back into government?
Well, the point is, one, to operate with the values and principles of the party. That is to strengthen the values and principles of the party. Because the values and principles of the party brand you different from the others in the same political space with you. So we will have to make that clear so that our adherents, including future adherents, can see that, look, this is NDC based on this, that. But we should not confuse them. We should not let them get confused. That is one. So we will need, and this is what you were talking about, the founder being concerned about our values and principles.
Right.
We should not make the ordinary man, we should not make our adherents, our future adherents, get confused as regards our true nature, who we are. That is one. Two is organization. We must deepen organization in terms of the structures, getting the structures to be strong, getting the structures to be able to operate, getting those we have elected at the various levels of structures to understand what they are there for, and then vis-a-vis their relationship with the rank and file of the people is very, very important. We must deepen the unity, as I've talked about. As a party, we must have unity as a party. We must, we must put aside our individual subjective interests and look at the party or the collective interest. But we must also ensure that the party is transparent. We must ensure the party is accountable. And we must ensure that the party rewards merit and contribution. If we fail to reward merit and contribution, and we rather adopt subjective means of reward, we would have problem. We would not be able to motivate the people to come out and sacrifice what they have to sacrifice. So these are things. And then party discipline. To always know that the party comes first before your personal interests. So when you are doing anything, first and foremost, think of the party. And thinking of the party, not just the shell, but thinking of the people who make the party. That's what we call the party.
I see. The race for the national executive positions, how would you describe it? It's been fair so far?
Well, so far it's been fair, I would say. So far it's been fair. In fact,
for all the positions?
Well, for those I have monitored so far, I've not been able to monitor because the time is
very short.
So one has been busy moving out around. But
you have a fair advantage of getting delegates to speak to you. You have no hindrances, no obstacles.
No hindrances.
As far as your campaign is concerned.
As far as Michael, no hindrances, no obstacles. And what I'm also happy is the campaign so far is about issues. There has been no personal attacks. And
what about the race for the flag bearership? Would you also say it's been fair?
Well, we haven't gotten there yet. Yeah, they've only given intention to go around and all. They have not yet, even nominations haven't been opened for them yet. So, and one cannot say that those who are so far, going around to campaign
will finally contest.
Will finally contest, or they are the only people. It's likely that some others too may come so far. But I would say that it's also so far. I think we could make it better, but so far so okay. Because one thing is that in our political space, sometimes there's a tendency to go personal, and which must be discouraged.
Should former President Mahama contest again? Former President Mahama, should he contest again?
Yes. Come again.
Former President Mahama, should he contest again?
Well, you are giving me. You are addressing me in borrowed ropes. I don't have that power to determine who should contest and who should not contest. We are saying that you must be a party member, and you must be a member in good standing.
Right.
That you have paid your dues and you've been active in the party and so on and so forth. No disciplinary action taken against you. You are not serving in a disciplinary, you're not serving in a disciplinary. Sanctions. Any disciplinary. You are not serving any sanctions.
You can contest.
Good. You can.
But some members of your party, leading members, think that he should just step aside and just push the party on.
Well, what you are telling me, I have not seen anything as an official party position.
Exactly. It's not official.
If people might be expressing their individual opinions, which they are entitled to. I know that there are also others who are insisting that he must contest.
But what do you think?
Can you leave that to me?
You don't want to answer?
No, I'm saying that every party member who is qualified should contest, if he wants to contest. That's what I'm saying. Every party member, because I'll be very undemocratic to just look at your face, Bright, and say, you, Bright, the way your tie is placed, you are not going to contest. You shouldn't contest. I think as a vibrant party, no, it will be completely undemocratic, and it will be abuse of people's democratic rights, their human rights, their civil rights, their political rights. I think anybody who is competent to contest, qualified by the constitution of the party, if the person wants to contest, the person should not be forced to contest. Like, I should not force you to contest.
Okay. Once again, thanks for coming and wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Alhaji Hudu Yaya is vying for the national chairmanship of the NDC. We'll have more of that, the elections slated for November 3. Stay right on TV. We're grateful for your time with us. My name is Bright Nanafa. I was here with John Hughes and Dr. Nana Mahachiman. Have a good morning once again. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. But stay right here on TV3.